All right, so welcome to Earth Science. The two big problems you got to get down with topographic maps after you've looked at this and gotten the basics are how to do a gradient and how to do a profile. We're going to do them both right here on this sheet. Let's actually do all these. What is the elevation of location A? These depression contours are kind of tricky. The way this works is that we're downhill over here, right? This dark line is 200. We go uphill, 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 uphill. There's 300. Our interval is 20. So 320, 340. When you go to a depression, the next one has the same value. So that'll also be 340. It's like you come up past 340 here, and then you start dipping down into this depression, and that would be 340. Then we continue to go down. So the next line would be 320, and that one A would be on 300. Coe Creek flows, you should have that by now. How do we know that it's, well, let's do it. So the little V's point upstream. See that little V? See that little V? That points upstream, water flows downstream. How do we know where it's faster? Well, the lines are close together right here, which indicates a steeper hill. And that's in fact what we got to do with gradients, is mathematically say how steep is this hill. So here we go. Gradients. In your reference tables, which I will magically pull up. What we got to do is look at the front page, and there's our equation. It's just like doing slope in math class. If you've done slope where you do rise over run, it's that. How much do you go up and downhill? That's your rise. How much do you go distance-wise? That's your run. So like if you were in math class, I think the expectation would be that if we gave you a coordinate axis with 2 points like this, that you could do the slope. Y1 minus Y2 divided by X1 minus X2. That's the fancy way of saying it. Rise over run. Let's do it with this. So at X, we're at 300 feet above sea level. At Y, we're at 200 feet above sea level. So it's like up here, you're at 300 feet. Down here, you're at 200 feet. Right? So what is the slope of that? Even if the hill isn't like uniformly straight, that's okay. We're going to be doing an average. So how much should we go up and down between those two? Well, we went from 200 up to 300. So we went up and down by 100. And we should know what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with feet, so that's 100 feet. We like labels on all of our numbers. Divided by how far apart are those two. So this is where you're going to have to use like a scrap piece of paper. Tear off one of the other ones, lay it down between X and Y, and see how far apart they are. It's not easy to do on the computer screen. I'm going to try anyway. But to me, it's looking like about 2.5. You tell me if you get something different on your paper. So that'd be about 2.5 miles. So rise over run. That's it. It's 100 over 2.5. Easy peasy. Now, when we do them, I get picky because I want to see all these numbers. When you do it in the lab, it's going to look like this. 100 feet over 2.5 miles, right? And then draw a little line in there to say over. Then you calculate. 100 divided by 2.5 is 40. So this equals 40. And the reason why I get picky about the labels is because if you write them here, your work is done for you. You have to give me a label on this answer. And by writing it there, you've already done it. Just copy exactly what's written. 40 feet per mile, just like it is in the equation. So that is the measurement of how steep that hill is. For every mile you walk on a slope of that angle, you'll be going up or down 40 feet for every mile of hiking you do. That's a gradient. So I'm going to show you how to do profiles too, but then later you're going to practice doing some of the gradients like down here and down here on your own. All right. I'm going to pause and we'll set up a profile. All right, profile. So what a profile is what would this hill look like from the side? If I were standing like over here, like that's the top of my head, right? I'm standing on this map and I'm looking at this hill from C to B. What does it look like in profile view? Profile view would be like, if you need that of me, you would draw like that, a side view, right? So how can we do that? We can do that with a great degree of accuracy. And in fact, accuracy counts big time when you do these things on the test. We can do it very accurately and figure out exactly what this would look like from the side. I'm going to go over to PowerPoint to do it because I couldn't figure out how to do it in Cami, but it's all good. So here's the deal. You have to take a separate piece of paper. I use these like slips when I'm in the classroom, but if you're not in the classroom, go grab, you tear off another one of the packet or grab a piece of scrap paper somewhere. It can be long and skinny, but what you're going to do is like lay it down right there from B to C, like so. Then we got to make marks on it. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that in PowerPoint. This is going to be an adventure between programs. Let me pause for 1 sec. All right, we're going to try it this way. All right, so that's like the first step. And when I have you do these on your own and you look at it and you say, geez, I don't remember how to do this, just come back to this video and do it bit by bit. All right, what we're going to do is label those 2 points, B and C. You also want to label them what the value is. So C is right here on 200. So write that. B is right there on 340. So write that. Oops, I skipped the 4. 340. And now, very carefully with your pencil, make a little mark. And you should be doing this while we do this. Don't just watch and say, oh yeah, I can do this. Make a mark each place where a contour line touches. Okay? Pause and do that with paper. And then when you come back, we're going to mark all of these again. So this one was my 300. And we're going up by what, 20s? So this is 320. This is 340. And then going downhill over here, or uphill if I want to go up from 200, it's fine. 220, 240, 260, 280. So this, now you've got a piece of paper that basically says exactly where you cross all these different elevations. Pick that up. You got that in your hands. You're going to need that. And what you're going to do with that is come on down to this graph. And this is where I'm going to be out of tricks in Cami. But what you do is grab that piece of paper and you lay it right on this right here. So if I could do it, I can just add a rectangle down here, right? If I could do it, I would have that rectangle like right there. And it would have all the marks on it. And basically it's an x-axis. And in fact, it's one you can slide up and down if you really want to be super accurate, as long as you're careful keeping your B on that line and your C on that line. You can go and make little marks all of the way up and down. All right, now what is it going to look like? Do it, okay? Don't just rely on this video. Jump in and do that. And accuracy counts, and just because I'm trying to do this online, I'm going to be out of options here, but you had a 340. Come on. Right, and then another 340. And then it went down pretty quick. 320, 300. It started to spread out more towards the end. So it really should look kind of like this with C on 200. And I apologize for it being kind of bootleg, but do you see what, like, you got to have that piece of paper and all those dots got to be in exactly the right spots. Since I can't do that on the screen, I have to kind of improvise. But it's going to roughly look like this, all right? Then you play connect the dots, and life is pretty easy. Connect the dots, connect the dots, connect the dots, connect the dots, which raises a question, what do we do when we get here? And the one rule that will always save you is if there's a dot, cross over the line. So there's a dot, so I got to cross over the line. And then there's another dot, which means I'm going to come back to it over here, giving me a little bit of a hilltop, which is what we see. You come uphill, 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 you get to a little bit of a hilltop right about there, and then you go down in towards that pit, right? And that's exactly what we looked at. Mistakes people will make, don't do this, this is wrong, is they'll come up to that, hit it, and then just dip back down. That will never happen, I promise. Other mistakes people will make is to go dot to dot to dot and then just say completely flat top like that. That will never be the answer. So don't do that. It will always have that little bit of a bulge and then come on down. Okay? That's what a profile view is. That's what I'm saying. If you look from the side, that's what that hill would look like. All right? So we did a gradient. All students got to do this. No way around it. We did a profile. Same thing. All right? So I'm going to have you try the rest of this packet. Those are kind of just matching some profiles, some easy questions, some more questions, but here's where we're going to get into doing other gradients and other profiles, and then more down here. All right, so get all that done, see how that goes. And again, if you say, I forgot how to do it, come on back up to this part of the video and give it a go. Good luck.